Exercise number 11 and 12. Ready? Start. I have ventured with your permission, sir, to take part in this initial debate on the draft constitution, but it is not my intention to deal with any particular part of it, either in commendation or in criticism, because a great deal of that kind has already been said and will no doubt be said, but in view of that, perhaps I could make some useful contribution to this debate by drawing attention to certain fundamental factors again. I had thought that I could do this even more because in recent days and weeks I have been beyond the shores of India, have visited foreign lands, met eminent people and statesmen of other countries, and has the advantage of looking at this beloved country of ours from a distance. That is of some advantage. It is true that those who look from a distance do not see many things that exist in this country, but it is equally true that those who live in this country and are surrounded all the time with numerous difficulties and problems sometimes fail to see the picture as a whole. We have to do both to see our problems in their intricate detail in order to understand them and also to see them in some perspective so that we may have that picture as a whole before our eyes. Now, this is even more important during a period of swift transition such as we have gone through. We have lived through this period of transition with all its trumps and glories and sorrows and bitterness, and are affected by all these changes. We are changing ourselves. We do not notice ourselves changing or the country changing so much, and it is quite helpful to be out of this turmoil for a while and to look at it from a distance and to look at it also to some extent with the eyes of other people. I have had that opportunity. I am glad of that opportunity because for the moment I was rid of the tremendous burden and responsibility which all of us carry, and which some of us who have to shoulder the burden of government have perhaps to carry more. For a moment I was rid of those immediate responsibilities and I could look at the picture with a free mind. From that distance I saw the star of India rising far above the horizon. The world is in a bad way, and this great continent of Asia or Europe and the rest of the world are in a bad way and are faced with problems which might almost appear to be be insurmountable, and sometimes one has the feeling that we were all actors in some terrible Greek tragedy which was moving on to its inevitable climax of disaster. Yet when I looked at this picture again from afar and from here, I had a feeling of hope and optimism, not merely because of India but also because of other things. I saw that the tragedy which seemed inevitable was not necessarily inevitable, that there were many other forces at work, that there were innumerable men and women of goodwill in the world who wanted to avoid this disaster and tragedy, and there was certainly a possibility that they would succeed in avoiding it. But to come back to India, we have ever since I moved this resolution before the House passed through stage transitions and changes. We function here far more independently than we did at that time. We function as a sovereign independent nation, but we have also gone through a great deal of sorrow and bitter grief during this period, and all of us have been powerfully affected by it. The country for which we were going to frame this constitution was partitioned and split into two, and what happened afterwards is fresh in our minds and will remain fresh with all its horrors for a very long time to come. All that has happened, and yet in spite of all this, India has grown in strength and in freedom, and undoubtedly this growth of India, this emergence of India as a free country is one of the significant facts of this generation, significant for us and for the vast number of our brothers and sisters who live in this country, significant for Asia and significant for the world. And the world is beginning to realize that India's roles in Asia and the world will be a beneficent role. Sometimes there may also be a measure of apprehension because India may play some part which some people, some countries with other interests may not particularly like. All that is happening, but the main thing is this very significant factor that India, after being dominated for a long period, has emerged as a free, sovereign, democratic, independent country, and that is a fact which changes and is changing history. How far it will change history will depend upon us, this house and other house like this, representing the organized will of the Indian people. Stop.